vision.
And we know that the mission of the Word of God, the role of the Word of God in human life and society is to advance that process we call freedom. But not just the freedom of the physical body. You know, African American people, we think of freedom in the circumstances of our own life and history. So since we see slavery in our history as physical slavery. We were physical properties. Then when the word freedom is mentioned, it strikes us as freedom from physical bondage or physical restrictions. But the higher idea of freedom is not freedom from physical bondage or physical restrictions. The higher idea of freedom is the freedom of the intellect. The freedom of the human intellect. The freedom of that rational potential that God gave equally to all people. That's the real idea of freedom. That's the higher freedom. And really you can't enslave a man's will. You can't enslave a man's potential. You may capture him physically, you may hold him back physically, but if he remains in the order that God created him, and doesn't sacrifice the spirit that God himself put in him for forward movement, he will remain free, though you have him physically confined. And eventually God will bless him with a way to overcome the physical obstructions, and he will be free indeed. So we need to come from the old idea of captivity, the old idea of being restricted or held back, and come to the new idea and focus upon not the physical body, not upon privilege to move physically throughout the United States, but the freedom to move in our intellect to greater vision, to greater purposes, to greater responsibilities, until we are comfortable with ourselves, in our life, in our purpose on this earth. Until that comes, we always are going to be a burdened people, a confused people.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Secretary Carson, along with Isaac Newton Ferris Jr., and the many distinguished guests for joining us here today. It's a great honor. Earlier this week, I had the tremendous privilege to join Isaac and Alveda to sign into law legislation redesignating the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site to the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park. The new law expands the area protected, and historic sites for the future generations of Americans are becoming so important. And this is a great honor for us and a great honor to Dr. King. Today we gather in the White House to honor the memory of a great American hero, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On January 15th, 1929, Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He would go on to change the course of human history. As a young man, Dr. King decided to follow the calling of his father and grandfather to become a Christian pastor. He would later write that it was quite easy for me to think of a God of love, mainly because I grew up in a family where love was central. That is what Reverend King preached all of his life: love. Love for each other, for neighbors, and for our fellow Americans.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Malik yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. The English translation of that is, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. All praise and thanks be to Allah, the Lord of the Alamein, and all that exists, the most gracious, the most merciful, the only owner of the day of recompense, the day of resurrection. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us to the straight way, the way of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not the way of those who have earned your anger. And with that, I welcome you, extend another cordial out to you, to join us once again here at History, Community Life, Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England. I'm Hassan Rashid, your host, and I'll be here with you for approximately 25 more minutes. You know, it's always excellent being here with you, and it's always such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here daily at CCTV. And with that, I extend the cordials, international cordial of peace, security, progress, prosperity, etc. out to you in the Arabic language, and that is Assalamu alaikum. Okay, that opening video was the late and great Imam Muhammad, the first one. Was provided by the Ministry of Imam Wafdi Muhammad, and that was one of the lecture that Imam Wafdi Muhammad gave before he passed away. He passed out this world, and it was on the subject of freedom. And since we just went through the Martin Luther King weekend, I thought it would be appropriate to put that on, because that's all the legacy of Martin Luther King is all about. It's all about freedom, and we're going to try to get back to some things. And plus, also, I almost forgot the President, Donald Trump. He signed into law a proclamation on behalf of Martin Luther King and Jr. and the King family. So we're going to also try to get back into that. Not today, in the weeks that come. So don't worry about it if we don't get it back on today, if we don't get those videos back on today. Right now, the Council of American Islamic Relations Executive Director, Dr. Nahid Awad, okay, I think he's a doctor too, and he issued a statement in regards to Dr. Martin Luther King, and that's the CARE, Council of American Islamic Relationship, and they're advocates for the rights of Muslim Americans here in the Western Hemisphere, okay? I'm going to read you some of the statement that came out that Dr. Nawad published, okay? Quote, among the greatest lessons that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. taught us, and which American Muslims can apply today, is the importance of welcome coordinated strategies carried out by wide coalitions to change the written and unwritten rules around how an entire community of Americans should and shouldn't be treated. With the Montgomery bus boycott, Dr. King taught us the importance of direct engagement with decision makers and community mobilization. When meeting decision makers to ask them to do the right thing does not result in the desired change. We exert community pressure in coordination with other American Muslim organizations and allies. Coordination is key. If one group works privately with decision makers, it is important to coordinate with those who are working publicly. So that's just an example of how different groups from all cross walks of life, all different walks of life came together in honor of the late and great Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay, I have another one here. And this was a speaker up in Framingham, Massachusetts. I think this there was a program at the presentation at the University of Framingham. That's the one that's been having all that racial trouble. And a speaker, he informed the public that they should build bridges, not walls. And he was a Muslim scholar and coordinator of multicultural student affairs at the university. Excuse me, I got the wrong. But this wasn't this. Okay, the article was issued in published in Framingham, but this is pertaining to the University of Southern Maine. Suggested Monday at a services honoring Martin Luther King Jr. that people build bridges rather than walls. Martin Luther King Jr. would be standing in solidarity with immigrants. Reza Jalali told those at the annual service hosted by Framingham Area Ecumenical Ministry at All South Congregational Church. So the speaker was from the University of Southern Maine, and he was speaking in the Framingham area. Okay, so if he were alive today, he would be an activist, Jalali said. We need to protest refugees, children everywhere, okay? Jalali, a writer who immigrated from Iran 30 years ago, said love and laughter are needed to overcome the darkness, hatred, and despair of so many today. Okay, so that's the people in their presentations. That's just a small, so man, they had Martin Luther King Day memorial services, etc., all over New England and Eastern Massachusetts in specific. Okay, but if you'd like to hear some more on Dr. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Day is over, holiday is over, and I hope you enjoyed it, had a great holiday. But if you'd like to hear some more on the theme of remembering Dr. Martin Luther King, I invite you to go out to the Cambridge Senior Center. That's 806 Massachusetts tonight, this evening. Excuse me. Okay, we got the wrong information here, but that's over with. That's over with. I thought, okay, it must be at the public library. There's another event, but I'm not sure. Brought the wrong information, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, and one more thing. I'd like to remind you that the Ministry of Imam W.D. Muhammad, we opened the broadcast with this video. They are going to honor Dr. Martin Luther King. They're going to have a day of service in regards to Dr. Martin Luther King, and this is at their annual Savior's Day that's coming up in February 2018. So stay tuned for History, Community Life, and Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England to learn more about this Savior's Day commemoration, February 22nd, and they're going to be held this year in New Orleans. So stay tuned for more information on that. But if you just can't wait, I advise you to call this number. That's 708-679-1587 and inquire about what's going to be on the agenda, etc. Hotel reservations, etc. Okay, and also you can email. That's wdministries@sbcglobal.net. So I invite you to get ready for the 2018 Savior's Day event. I'm Hassan Rashid, and you know we don't have enough time to do everything that we'd like to, but since we just went through the Martin Luther King holiday weekend, I'd like to keep the emphasis right now a little bit more on the life and the life of Dr. Martin Luther King. I got another video I want to share with you, but I should have it ready for you in just a few seconds. So if you tolerate me just a little bit more, we can get this on, okay? Okay.
I have a dream.
When he spoke that day on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, he was preaching from his heart, from his soul, from his guts.
As the day of the march drew near, I stayed at the Willard Hotel where Dr. King was staying. Now, among his advisors, there were those who were suggesting, Martin, people are coming to the March on Washington because they're coming to hear you preach. And there were others, and they said, no, Dr. King, we have to give a kind of political direction, a treatise of where we are. I was part of that group. And he was being very gracious. He said, well, thank you so much, but I'm going to go up and work on my speech and counsel with the Lord. It's the day of the speech. I'm standing on the platform, about 50 feet behind him.
I had no credentials, but I kind of crawled up the steps and backed my way in.
Everybody was curious as to what this young man's going to say.
And as you would expect, you'd have a large crowd like that. People had their own mini conversations going on, you know.
But when Dr. King got up, it got quiet. I mean, it was like you were at church.
He's introduced by A. Randolph in the sonorous voice.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I couldn't get to him to wink my eye or to say to him, Mike, come on, you can do it, you can do it.
And after a couple of perfunctory introductory sentences, I'm listening to his speech.
50 years ago,
I concentrated on his words and what he was saying.
Okay, hopefully we'll get right back to that in just a few seconds, but I'd like to just bring something else to your attention, and this is about the current state of our, our climate, our weather, and the forces of nature, and nature itself, okay? This is something pertaining to this time of year, and this is the brand new opening of the Winter Warming Center. You know, Winter Warming Center is a place where the homeless can get in, out, get shelter, fortified against the natural elements of this season. That's a winter season. But the Winter Warming Center has just opened, and it's a good thing. And so I want to share with you some things, this flyer from the Winter Warming Center. The Winter Warming Center is a welcoming, safe drop-in center where unsheltered adults can come and spend the night and be safe from the environmental hazards of the streets during the winter months. The center will offer a safe space with beverages and hot meals, access to bathrooms, and the ability to rest on a yoga mat on the floor. The center will be open from 11 hours each night, 7 nights weekly during the winter months. So their first inaugural opening event was yesterday. That was the 16th, okay? But they'll be there tonight. So once guests come in, they'll be asked to stay on the site. We'll go through a safety check, and they will store their personal belongings. In the morning, transportation will be waiting to bring all overnight guests to a local shelter. That's the Warming Center. It will operate in the basement of the Senior Center. That's 806 Mass, with access solely through the rear parking lot on Green Street. So the primary concern is to ensure that optimal health and safety for all guests, staff, and nearby neighbors. Okay, our center aims to do this on a foundation of respect, dignity, and welcome for all comers, despite the experience and challenges they are facing. So, if you have questions about the Warming Center, please contact the Department of Human Services at 617-349-600 or schevalier@cambridgema.gov. So, okay, so it's very important though, if you know anyone and if you happen to run into somebody and you're coming and going that looks like they're in need of a place to get in from the cold, etc. I hear there's another storm brewing, so you can direct them to the Winter Warming Center. That's 806 Massachusetts Avenue in the rear. That's at the Cambridge Citywide Senior Center. So there are other resources for people homeless in Cambridge during extreme winter weather. So there is the Casper Emergency Center, 240 Albany Street. There's a First Church Shelter, 11 Garden Street. There's a Harvard Square Homeless Shelter, 66 Winthrop Street, Heading Home Shelter, Salvation Army Shelter, St. Patrick's Women's Shelter, Y2U Shelter. Okay, and there's also daily drop-ins. That's 8 Action Drop-In and Needle Exchange, 356 Green Street. There's the On the Rise, 341 Cambridge Street, and this daily drop-in is only for women. So that's the On the Rise, 341 Broadway, Cambridge. And then there's also the Salvation Army, 402 Massachusetts Avenue, just a few doors here from CCTV. So I want to get this out to you because winter's not over with. January, February is always the worst months, and there are a lot of people in need of the information at these resources at these places and their resources. Okay, resources that they provide. Okay, so you'll be hearing more about this through the winter months. So I just thought that you get that on your minds. Okay. Because nobody wants to see or read about someone dying from hypothermia, and it's being able to stay warm in the cold. Okay, so also Cambridge has a network of homeless service shelters, faith-based partners, and public services that coordinate efforts during extreme weather conditions. Winter storms and extreme temperature poses a severe risk to safety and health of people remaining outdoors. So if you see someone on the streets and are concerned about them, then please contact, this is one resource, the First Step Outreach Team at 617-592-6895. Once again, that's the First Step Street Outreach Team, 617-592-6895, or call 911 if it's a medical emergency. For more information, view the 217-18 Quick Winter Street questions, and comment can be sent to the planning development. So, but you can't go wrong though if you call 911. They've got all of the information, and they know exactly who to direct you or guide you to. Okay, once again, the last week, that's this past Saturday, the Cambridge Winners Farmers Market just went into operation. So they're open and available for fresh produce, dairy products, etc., etc. That's the Cambridge Winter Farmers Market. And guess what? If you're a recipient of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, then they're proud to accept and match your SNAP's $15 of SNAP. That's a Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, $15, the old food stamp program, equal to $30 to spend at the market. So if you spend $15, you get $30 worth of value. Okay, so that's 5 Calendar Street, Cambridge. And that's inside the gymnasium, the Cambridge Community Center. That's the Winners Farmers Market, and I think they'll be in operation until I guess probably late May sometime. Okay, no, April 7th. April 7th. That's a Cambridge Winners Farmers Market, and don't forget. I want to congratulate the City Council and all the folks at the City Hall who are responsible for the Winter Warming Center. Okay, that's 806 Mass at the Senior Center. That's right across from City Hall, directly across from City Hall. If you like any information about these weather, anything about the weather, you can call the Department of Human Service Program 617-349-6200. That's the winter weather. Okay, I'm Hassan Rashid. So it's excellent being here with you, and it's always such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here daily at CCTV. So until next time, I leave you with the fact that the superior wisdom can never be subjected by inferior wisdom. So with that, I extend out the ancient Islamic cordial of peace, security, well-being, prosperity, progress, and it's all into As-salamu alaikum. Everything that you need is in the word As-salamu alaikum. Okay, everything that humanity needs is in the word As-salamu alaikum. Okay, I'm gonna try to get back to one of these videos for you. Hold on. I should take the program right now to the end of this broadcast. Okay, it's the okay.
Why? Because that is a natural requirement in the life of every man, that his intellect be liberated. And no matter how ignorant you are academically speaking, or how much you've been deprived of formal opportunity or formal education, there is in you the same will that there is in President Reagan, that there was in President Jefferson, or any other noble person or excellent person or powerful person that you could imagine in your mind, whether black, or brown, or red, or yellow, or any color. Whatever they have stirring in there, that God put in there, the same is in you, the same is in me. And until we come to a higher vision of what our purpose is on this earth and what our rights are in society, we will always be a burden that oppresses people. Again, let's look at the words of God in the Quran. God, in the words of the Quran, Alif Lam Mim. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. Alif Lam Mim, mystical letters, signaling your attention. They are attention grabbers. When the Arabic-speaking person hears these letters, it's like you hearing me say, A-L-M. What it means to you, you're wondering. So I have
Dr. King's faith and his love for
There's
humanity
no defect in it.
led him and so many other heroes to courageously stand up for civil rights of African Americans. Through his bravery and sacrifice, Dr. King opened the eyes and lifted the conscience of our nation. He stirred the hearts of our people to recognize the dignity written in every human soul. Today we celebrate Dr. King for standing up for the self-evident truth Americans hold so dear, that no matter what the color of our skin or the place of our birth, we are all created equal by God. This April we will mark a half-century since Reverend King was so cruelly taken from us by an assassin's bullet. But while Dr. King is no longer with us, his words and his vision only grow stronger through time. Today we mourn his loss, we celebrate his legacy, and we pledge to fight for his dream of equality, freedom, justice, and